And do we have any questions?
Yeah.
Yes. I need at least 5 questions to start thinking people.
So when I look at the final stage of Froggy right there in your tablet, I actually see him maybe on one series or one episode. He's on a skateboard or a surfboard or something like that.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I mean, just saying. I mean, you ever thought?
Hey, that's my Froggy. This ain't yours. You
I
ride
know,
the bicycle, man.
I know, right? Okay. But have you ever thought about the activities that Froggy would have and some of the as you've done the stages of his appearance, you have any ideas what his activities are going to be, and just kind of
that one I have not fully dived into. The one thing here's I'll give you the brief story of Froggy that I know where he's going. It's about a young boy that is trying to figure out who he is. He's getting a lot from the world trying to tell him what he should be, but his only goal is he knows he has to find the great artist. And the great artist, who is the creator for me, is God, Christ. The great artist that he knows if he can find him, then he will find truly who he is.
That's
so
awesome.
it's an underlined, sure, as a believer, as a Christian, there's an underlined story. It's not a Christian story, all right? But this is me. It's my story. Like I said, this is Froggy. And a lot of my journey, as a lot of your guys' journey in life, is we're trying to figure out who we are. And it's hard out there sometimes, right? And we're getting so much from the world telling us who we have to be and what we should be. But realistically, we already have a creator that knows everything about us and who we are. And if we can just tap into that, we're good. We're so good.
Awesome.
Right? That's the story of Froggy that I'm believing at some point soon we'll get that out there. Yeah. So activity and stuff, don't know. Just working on friends and stuff like that are hanging out with them. And going from there. Yeah. Any other questions? Yep.
You had formal training?
Have I had any formal training? No. All my training is, so here's an interesting story on that. I've gone through like school back in junior high. I did go to college for a little bit for graphics design and stuff, so hated it. Just hated it. And like I said, put all that to the side, started working on some of my stuff again. I was a graphics designer. Now it's a little different than illustration, but I was a graphics designer for many, many years. Worked within that industry. But yeah, no formal training. But what I decided to do is when I started to draw again, I was just kind of going out and I was struggling with things like, this doesn't look right, this doesn't look good. So what I did is I humbled myself and said, you know what, Thomas, here's what you need to do. There's all these courses online. Get online and take it back to the fundamentals, the foundation, and start building your skills up from the scratch. I don't care that you're almost 50, man. Do it. And that's what I had to be honest with myself. Thomas, you don't know everything, and I still don't know everything. But get in there, figure it out, and start learning and growing. So yeah, no formal training, just believing in myself and practice. Practice, practice, practice. That's the key right there. Yeah, hope that helps. Yeah. Anybody else? Addie, you had a question? You did not? Okay. Anybody else?
Is something wrong with you?
It's called ADHD, I think.
I'll answer that.
No, my wife. She is a registered nurse.
Just because you said we could ask the question.
Oh, no. I received that. And yeah, the answer is yes, probably so. 100%. And the great thing is I'm okay with that. So, yeah. All right, yes.
Did you say you use alcohol markers?
Alcohol markers, yeah. So there's a couple different kinds. My main primary ones that I've run to now is Copic markers. C-O-P-I-C, Copic markers. Those are the ones that I enjoy the most. Yeah.
What's the difference with those versus others?
You know, honestly,
because my granddaughter, that's what she's requested.
Yeah. So here's what I would recommend. What I start off with, and honestly, they're perfect, perfectly on Amazon. They're called Ohura, O-H. I think it's like O-H-U-R-U, Ohura, or something like that. Super cheap. You can buy them in these huge sets, and they're great. Like comparable to, I still have a bunch of them, so I still mix them up. The only reason I went to the Copic markers, they are a lot more expensive, but the Ohuras you cannot buy individually, so you have to buy them in sets every time. So if you run out, it's like if you're using the same color a lot, then you'd have to just buy the whole set. There are Master Touch, they sell them at Hobby Lobby. They're a great one too, very cost effective. The reason I chose Copic is they're the only ones that I know of right now in the market that you can refill yourselves. So it saves me money by buying the Copic markers, buying the refill, because the refill will refill like up to like 5 or 8 times a marker, and you're paying for the same price that you would just buy for the marker. That's the only reason. Yeah. So, but yeah, all of them are fine. My thing would say is, don't worry so much about that. Cheaper ones are just as good. Just get started. Yeah. Good question. Anybody else? Don't have to. I can be done. Yes, ma'am.
I feel like all of your work is allegorical, because I come from a English teacher, literature perspective, and it sounds like an allegory to me.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. I mean, everything I do is, it has to have, it doesn't, I don't know, like, everything I do has a story to it or something. There's meaning behind it. I have those pictures where I just drew something,
Yes.
but I entered into a stage in my life where I want everything to tell a little bit of a story, even if it's just on one page, I think that's why, like with David and I with these comics stuff, that's the obsession of is, I wanted to tell those stories and stuff. I want to share these things. So yeah, I would say yes, definitely. So, all right. Anybody else? I'll end it there. Okay, one more.
How old do you think Froggy is in all 3?
How old do you think he is?
The first one, I think he's like 5.
Okay, I like
The
that.
second one, he's like my age, which is like 13.
Okay,
The last one, I think he's like 18.
okay. So what I would say is probably in the first one, since you just said it, he's going to be 5 now. And he's going to be about 13 the other one, and now he's about probably 17, 18. Into that teenage, getting into adulthood almost, stepping into the world. Oh, that's great, man. I love it. You're right. Right there, boom. All right, I'll end it there so we can move on. Hey, thank you guys so much for coming. Let's take 5 minutes.